the nervous system. You can finally rest now. Breathe slowly again. Very gently. Feel the stillness around you. Feel the softness of the darkness. Feel your tired mind gradually slowing down. There is no need to rush this process. Healing happens slowly. Rest happens gently. Peace enters quietly. And tonight, God is patiently calming your exhausted heart one moment at a time. Maybe anxiety has made you feel emotionally alone lately. Maybe you have spent nights wondering why your mind cannot simply relax. Wondering why your thoughts feel so loud. Why fear feels so heavy. Why peace sometimes feels difficult to reach. But there is nothing wrong with you tonight. Your exhausted mind simply needs gentleness. Your overwhelmed heart simply needs safety. Your tired nervous system simply needs rest. And God lovingly understands that. Better than anyone. He is not disappointed in your anxiety. Not frustrated by your overthinking. Not distant from your emotional exhaustion. Instead, He remains close beside you through the darkness. Like someone quietly sitting near you at midnight. Helping your breathing slow. Helping your thoughts soften. Helping your soul feel safe again. And perhaps now, the room around you feels calmer than before. The silence feels comforting. The darkness no longer feels heavy. Because God's peaceful presence fills every corner of this night. You no longer need to carry today. The stress can rest now. The fears can rest now. The emotional pressure can rest now. Tonight, your weary soul deserves quietness. Deep quietness. The kind that slowly untangles anxious thoughts. The kind that gently relaxes the body. The kind that reminds the heart, you are being lovingly watched over. Even now, while your eyes slowly grow heavier. While your thoughts drift more softly through your mind. While your breathing becomes deeper. God remains awake beside you. Steady. Calm. Faithful. There is comfort in knowing. You do not need to stay mentally alert all night. You do not need to keep protecting yourself from every possible future pain. God is already present in tomorrow. Already holding what concerns you. Already watching over the things your anxious mind keeps trying to control. And because of that, your exhausted heart can finally begin letting go. Little by little. Without fear. Without pressure. Like leaves slowly floating away across still water. Like clouds quietly moving through the night sky. Like waves calming after a storm. Everything inside you is beginning to soften now. The tension. The overthinking. The emotional noise. All becoming quieter. Slower. More distant. Because peace is becoming stronger than fear tonight. And maybe your body already feels the change. Your muscles relaxing. Your chest feeling lighter. Your breathing becoming slower and softer. Your nervous system finally realizing you are safe enough to sleep. Safe enough to rest deeply. Safe enough to stop carrying everything alone. God remains near through every quiet second. Watching over your heart tenderly. Protecting your peace. Surrounding this anxious night with calmness. And maybe tonight, for the first time in a while, you do not need to fear the silence, because the silence no longer feels empty. It feels safe, warm, comforting, like God Himself is gently sitting beside you through the darkness, guarding your rest, holding your weary soul carefully, loving you through every exhausted moment. So continue breathing slowly now. Continue letting your thoughts soften. Continue allowing your body to sink deeper into rest. There is no urgency here tonight. No danger. No pressure. Only peace. Only stillness. Only the gentle presence of God helping your anxious heart finally learn how to rest again. The night continues softly now. Quiet. Slow. Peaceful in a way your soul may have needed for a very long time. And perhaps your anxious thoughts are no longer racing quite as fast. Perhaps your breathing feels calmer now. Perhaps your body is beginning to release the tension it carried all day. Because little by little, your nervous system is finally realizing you are safe tonight. Safe enough to rest. Safe enough to stop fighting. Safe enough to let go for a while. Sometimes anxiety feels like carrying invisible noise inside the mind. Even when everything outside becomes quiet, the inside still feels loud. Thoughts repeating. Fears replaying. Worst-case scenarios forming without permission. And the exhausting part is how lonely that can feel at night. Because while everyone else seems asleep, your mind keeps moving, keeps searching, keeps trying to protect you from pain that has not even happened. And eventually, the soul becomes tired. Very tired. Maybe you know that exhaustion deeply. The kind where your body begs for sleep, but your thoughts refuse to rest. The kind where your heart feels emotionally worn down from constantly overthinking. The kind where even small worries suddenly feel enormous in the darkness. But tonight, God is gently calming those fears inside you. Not by yelling at your anxiety. Not by forcing your thoughts to disappear instantly. But by staying close beside you. Steady. Patient. Peaceful. Like soft light glowing quietly through darkness. Like calm breathing beside an overwhelmed heart. Like gentle waves slowly carrying tension away from the shore. That is how God's presence feels tonight. And perhaps now, you can stop blaming yourself for feeling anxious. You are not weak because your mind feels tired. You are not failing because your thoughts became overwhelming. You are human. A deeply tired human heart trying to carry too much for too long. And tonight, God lovingly invites you to stop carrying it alone. There is something deeply healing about finally feeling emotionally safe. Safe enough to stop pretending. Safe enough to admit your mind feels exhausted. Safe enough to breathe without bracing for something bad to happen. And maybe that safety is exactly what your soul has been searching for. Not more pressure. Not more self-criticism. Not more fear. Just peace. Gentle peace. Steady peace. The kind that slowly quiets every restless place inside you. Breathe slowly again now. Very softly. Feel the calmness surround. Feel the stillness of the night. Feel your body becoming heavier with rest. Nothing is demanding anything from you in this moment. There is nowhere you need to rush. No problem you must solve before sleeping. No pressure to hold yourself together perfectly. Tonight, you are simply allowed to rest. And while you rest, God remains awake beside you, watching over every detail of your life, even the details your anxious mind keeps trying to control, even the future you fear, even the unanswered questions you keep replaying internally. God already sees all of it. And somehow, He remains calm, steady, unshaken. Perhaps your soul desperately needed that reminder tonight. That God is not panicking about your future. He is not overwhelmed by your uncertainty. He is not afraid of tomorrow. And because He remains steady, your exhausted heart can slowly become steady too. One breath at a time. One peaceful moment at a time. One gentle release at a time. Maybe tonight, you can finally stop carrying tomorrow inside your chest. Tomorrow has not arrived yet, and you do not need to survive it before it comes. You do not need to mentally rehearse every possible outcome. You do not need to prepare yourself for every worst-case scenario, because anxiety often convinces exhausted hearts that constant worrying somehow keeps them safe. But all it truly does is steal peace, steal rest, steal softness from the soul. And tonight, God gently leads you away from that exhausting cycle, away from overthinking, away from emotional survival mode, and into quiet safety instead. The darkness around you feels softer now, more comforting. The silence feels warm, almost protective. And maybe, for the first time today, your nervous system no longer feels trapped in fear, because God's peaceful presence is slowly calming every anxious place inside you. You are not abandoned tonight, not forgotten, not left alone with your thoughts. God sees the hidden battles happening inside your mind. He sees the fear you rarely explain to others, the emotional heaviness behind your silence, the exhaustion you carry quietly through ordinary days. And tonight, He responds with gentleness. Always gentleness. Never shame. Never impatience. Only love steady enough to calm your frightened heart. And perhaps now, your thoughts already feel more distant, more dreamlike, less urgent. Your breathing slower, your body softer beneath the blankets, the tension melting quietly from your chest, because peace is settling deeper into your soul now. There is no danger here tonight, no emergency, no reason for your heart to remain trapped in survival mode. You are deeply safe, safe enough to soften, safe enough to close your eyes, safe enough to let sleep slowly find you, like quiet waves reaching the shore at night, like soft rain easing gently across the earth, like darkness wrapping itself peacefully around the world. Sleep is beginning to surround you softly now, and through every quiet second, God remains beside you, protecting your rest, guarding your peace, holding your weary soul carefully through the darkness. You no longer need to carry this anxious night alone. You no longer need to fight your thoughts by yourself, because God is here, closer than fear, closer than overthinking. Closer than every heavy thought still lingering inside your mind. So continue breathing slowly now. Continue allowing your thoughts to soften. Continue letting your body sink deeper into rest. There is no urgency anymore. Only calmness. Only stillness. Only the gentle presence of God helping your exhausted heart drift slowly, softly, peacefully, toward rest. The night has become even quieter now. So quiet. So still. As though the world itself is slowly falling asleep. And perhaps your soul is beginning to fall asleep too. Not suddenly, not forcefully, but gently, softly, peacefully. Your breathing feels deeper now, slower, more natural. Your body rests heavier against the bed. The tension that once filled your chest is slowly fading. And even your thoughts, those anxious thoughts that once felt so loud, are beginning to lose their urgency. Because God's presence is calming your heart little by little tonight. Sometimes anxiety makes people feel trapped inside their own minds, as though there is no escape from the constant thinking, the constant worrying, the constant emotional noise. And eventually, the soul becomes exhausted from carrying so much internally. Maybe that is how you arrived here tonight. Emotionally tired, mentally overwhelmed, quietly hoping for peace, quietly hoping your mind would finally become still. And tonight, God lovingly meets you exactly in that exhaustion. Not with pressure, not with disappointment, but with gentleness. Steady gentleness. Like calm waves beneath moonlight. Like distant rain falling softly through darkness. Like someone sitting quietly beside you saying, "You are safe now." And perhaps your anxious heart desperately needed to hear those words tonight. You are safe now. Safe enough to stop overthinking for a little while. Safe enough to release tomorrow. Safe enough to stop carrying invisible fear through the night. Because right now, nothing dangerous is happening. Nothing is chasing you. Nothing is demanding answers from you. This moment belongs to rest. Deep, quiet, healing rest. And God Himself watches over that rest tonight. Even now, while your thoughts drift softly through your mind, while your breathing becomes slower, while your eyelids grow heavier, God remains awake beside you. Steady, calm, faithful. There is something deeply comforting about knowing you do not have to stay mentally alert anymore tonight. You do not need to prepare yourself for every possible outcome. You do not need to protect yourself from every imagined future pain. God is already present in tomorrow. Already holding the things your anxious mind fears. Already carrying what feels too heavy for your exhausted heart. And because of that, you can finally begin letting go. More deeply now. More completely. Like leaves slowly floating down a quiet river at night. Like clouds drifting gently across a dark sky. Like waves becoming calm after a long storm. Everything inside you is softening now. The fear, the pressure, the emotional tension, all becoming quieter, more distant, less overwhelming. Because peace is slowly becoming stronger than anxiety tonight. Breathe softly again. Very gently. Feel the stillness surrounding you. Feel the calmness filling the room. Feel your body relaxing even deeper now. You are not alone in this anxious night. Not forgotten. Not abandoned inside your overthinking. God sees every hidden fear your mind keeps carrying. Every silent ache. Every exhausted emotion. And instead of turning away from your weakness, He stays close. Close enough to comfort your heart. Close enough to calm your nervous system. Close enough to help your soul finally rest. Maybe you have spent too long carrying pressure silently. Pressure to stay strong. Pressure to keep functioning. Pressure to hold yourself together emotionally. And eventually, that pressure becomes incredibly heavy. But tonight, you no longer need to hold everything together alone. Tonight, God gently holds you instead. And perhaps your body already feels that comfort. The warmth spreading through your chest. The heaviness behind your eyes. The softness of assisting how to rest again. Slowly realizing it no longer needs to stay trapped in survival mode. Because you are safe. Deeply safe. The room feels peaceful now. The darkness comforting. The silence warm and protective. And somewhere within this stillness, your soul is quietly healing. Healing from exhaustion. Healing from overthinking. Healing from the constant emotional noise anxiety creates inside the mind. There is no rush tonight. No urgency. No pressure to force sleep. Sleep is already beginning to surround you softly. Naturally. Peacefully. Like darkness gently covering the earth. Like calm water carrying you farther from fear. Like soft wind easing through trees in the middle of the night. That same peaceful rhythm is carrying your soul now. Farther from tension. Farther from stress. Farther from emotional exhaustion. And through every quiet moment, God remains beside you tenderly, watching over your breathing, your thoughts, your weary heart. You no longer need to carry tomorrow tonight. Tomorrow can wait. The unanswered questions can wait. The fears can wait. Right now, your exhausted soul only needs peace. And God lovingly gives that peace freely. Without condition. Without pressure. Without asking anything from you except rest. So continue drifting softly now. Continue allowing your thoughts to become slower. Continue letting your body relax more deeply. There is nothing left you must solve tonight. Nothing left you must fight. Nothing left you must fear in this moment. Only stillness remains. Only calmness. Only the gentle presence of God helping your anxious heart finally feel safe enough to sleep. And as the night grows deeper now, as your breathing slows even more, as your awareness becomes softer and dreamlike, God continues watching over you lovingly, holding your weary soul carefully through the darkness, guiding your exhausted heart farther and farther into quiet, peaceful rest. The night feels softer than ever now. Quiet, slow, peaceful in a deep and gentle way. And perhaps, Your heart feels softer too. The anxious tension that once filled your mind is slowly fading into the background. Your breathing feels calm now. Steady. Natural. Your body feels warm and heavy beneath the blankets. And little by little, your soul is beginning to believe. It is finally safe enough to rest. Sometimes anxiety keeps people awake because their hearts never truly feel safe. The mind keeps searching for danger, keeps replaying painful possibilities, keeps trying to control tomorrow before it even arrives. And eventually, the body becomes exhausted from carrying constant emotional alertness. Maybe you understand that exhaustion deeply. The kind where even nighttime does not feel restful. The kind where silence makes thoughts louder. The kind where your heart quietly whispers, "I just want peace." And tonight, God gently answers that longing inside you. Not through loudness, not through pressure, but through calmness. Soft calmness. Steady peace. Like moonlight resting silently across dark water. Like rain fading slowly into the distance. Like warm breathing beside someone who no longer needs to feel afraid. That is how God remains beside you tonight. Quietly comforting your anxious heart. Quietly calming your restless mind. Quietly reminding your exhausted soul, you are not alone anymore. Breathe slowly again now. Very gently. Feel your chest rise softly. Then slowly exhale the heaviness you carried through the day. You do not need to carry all of it anymore tonight. The fears, the stress, the emotional pressure, the overthinking. God lovingly holds what your tired heart no longer can. And perhaps now, your nervous system is finally beginning to relax completely. The tension in your shoulders softening. The heaviness behind your eyes deepening. Your thoughts slowing more naturally now. Because peace is settling deeper inside you. There is no danger in this moment. No emergency. No reason for your soul to stay trapped in survival mode. You are deeply safe tonight. Safe enough to stop preparing for pain. Safe enough to stop replaying fearful thoughts. Safe enough to release tomorrow into God's hands. Because tomorrow does not belong to anxiety. It belongs to God. And maybe your exhausted soul desperately needed that reminder tonight. You do not need to control everything. You do not need to mentally carry your future through the darkness. You do not need to hold the weight of the world inside your chest. God is already there. Already watching over every detail. Already holding what concerns you. Already protecting what your anxious mind fears losing. And because of that, your heart can continue softening now. Like calm waves smoothing over restless water. Like soft wind easing through quiet trees at midnight. Like darkness wrapping gently around the sleeping earth. Everything inside you is becoming slower now. Quieter. More peaceful. The room around you feels calm. Almost sacred in its silence. The darkness no longer feels heavy. It feels comforting. Warm. Safe. And within this peaceful stillness, God remains beside you faithfully. Watching over your breathing. Watching over your thoughts. Watching over every fragile place inside your weary heart. Maybe lately, You have felt emotionally overwhelmed in ways difficult to explain. Too many thoughts. Too much pressure. Too many invisible fears quietly building inside you. And perhaps you became tired of pretending you were okay. Tired of carrying emotional heaviness silently. Tired of fighting anxious thoughts every night. But tonight, you no longer need to fight alone. God lovingly surrounds your exhausted mind with peace now. Steady peace. The kind that gently untangles fearful thoughts. The kind that slowly teaches the nervous system how to rest again. And perhaps now, you can feel your body sinking deeper into the bed beneath you. Your muscles relaxed. Your breathing slow. Your thoughts soft and dreamlike. The emotional noise inside your mind becoming quieter. More distant. Less powerful. Because God's calm presence is becoming stronger than your anxiety tonight. There is healing in this stillness. Healing in finally feeling emotionally safe. Healing in no longer carrying every burden alone. Healing in allowing yourself to stop striving for a little while. And maybe your soul has needed this kind of gentleness for a very long time. Not criticism. Not pressure. Not fear. Just softness. Just compassion. Just the peaceful reminder that God is still here with you in the middle of this anxious night. You are not forgotten tonight. Not abandoned. Not invisible inside your struggles. God sees every hidden fear. Every tired thought. Every silent ache your heart carries. And still, His love remains patient. Steady. Unshaken. Like quiet stars above a sleeping world. Like calm light glowing softly in darkness. Like peaceful hands resting over an exhausted soul. That is how God stays beside you tonight. Protecting your rest. Guarding your peace. Helping your anxious heart slowly drift farther away from fear. Perhaps your thoughts already feel blurry now. Soft around the edges. Your awareness becoming lighter. Sleep beginning to gently pull you deeper into calmness. And there is no need to resist it anymore. No need to stay mentally alert. No need to keep carrying emotional weight through the night. You are safe enough to rest now. Deeply safe. Fully held by God's loving presence. So continue breathing softly. Continue allowing your thoughts to fade into silence. Continue letting your body relax more deeply with every passing moment. Nothing more is required from you tonight. Nothing more needs to be solved. Only peace remains. Only stillness. Only the gentle comfort of God watching over you while your exhausted soul slowly drifts deeper and deeper into healing, restful, peaceful sleep. The night is very quiet now. So quiet. So still. As though the entire world has gently slowed into rest. And perhaps your anxious heart is slowing too. Your breathing feels softer now. Deeper. More peaceful. Your body feels heavy beneath the blankets. Warm. Safe. Relaxed in a way it has not felt all day. And little by little, your thoughts are no longer fighting so hard for your attention. They are drifting farther away now. Becoming softer. Less urgent. Like distant waves fading into darkness. Tonight, you do not need to hold on to fear anymore. Not in this moment. Not while God is watching over you. Because maybe you have been carrying fear for far too long. Fear of the future. Fear of failure. Fear of losing control. Fear of things changing. Fear of things never changing. And eventually, that fear becomes exhausting. Not only emotionally, but physically. The body becomes tired. The mind becomes overwhelmed. The soul becomes restless. Maybe your heart knows that feeling deeply tonight. But now, God gently invites your exhausted spirit into peace instead. Not dramatic peace. Not forced peace. But quiet peace. The kind that slowly untangles anxious thoughts. The kind that gently tells the nervous system, you are safe now. And perhaps, that is what your soul has needed more than anything else. To finally feel safe. Safe enough to stop bracing for pain. Safe enough to stop expecting something bad to happen. Safe enough to simply rest. Without fear following you into the darkness. Breathe slowly again now. Very softly. Feel the calmness surrounding the room. Feel the stillness resting gently around your body. Feel the warmth of safety settling into your chest. Nothing is chasing you tonight. Nothing is demanding answers from you. Nothing needs to be fixed before you sleep. This moment belongs only to rest. And God lovingly protects that rest around you. Even now. While your awareness becomes softer. While your eyelids grow heavier. While your thoughts drift more slowly through your mind. God remains close beside you. Steady. Calm. Faithful. Like someone quietly sitting near you in the middle of the night. Keeping watch while your exhausted soul finally sleeps. There is comfort in knowing. You no longer need to carry every burden through the dark. You no longer need to solve every problem before morning. You no longer need to mentally rehearse tomorrow. God is already there. Already present in the future your anxious thoughts keep fearing. Already holding what feels uncertain. Already carrying what feels too heavy for your heart tonight. And because of that, your soul can continue letting go now. More deeply. More completely. Like soft rain fading into silence after a storm. Like clouds drifting slowly across a sleeping sky. Like calm water settling beneath moonlight. Everything inside you is becoming quieter now. The fear, the tension, the emotional exhaustion, all softening gently beneath the peaceful presence of God. And perhaps now, you can feel how tired your soul truly was. Not weak, not broken, just exhausted from carrying too much internally for too long. But tonight, God does not ask you to keep carrying it. He simply invites you to rest beside Him. To stop striving. To stop surviving. To stop fighting every thought. And maybe, for the first time in a while, your nervous system is finally beginning to trust the quietness of this night. Your chest feels lighter. Your breathing calmer. Your muscles deeply relaxed. Even your thoughts seem slower now. More distant. More dreamlike. Because peace is slowly becoming stronger than anxiety inside you. The room feels peaceful, the darkness comforting, the silence warm and gentle. And within this stillness, God remains near to every exhausted part of your heart. He sees the hidden worries you rarely speak aloud, the fears you carry privately, the emotional heaviness behind your smile. And instead of turning away from your exhaustion, He moves closer, closer to comfort you, closer to calm you, closer to remind your weary soul that you are deeply loved tonight. There is no shame in being tired, no shame in needing rest, no shame in feeling emotionally overwhelmed sometimes. God understands human hearts completely. And tonight, His compassion feels softer than fear, steadier than anxiety, more peaceful than every restless thought trying to keep you awake. So continue breathing slowly now. Continue allowing your body to sink deeper into rest. Continue letting your thoughts drift softly away. There is no urgency here anymore. No pressure. No danger. Only calmness. Only stillness. Only the gentle presence of God helping your anxious heart finally feel safe enough to sleep deeply. Perhaps now, sleep is already beginning to pull you farther into quietness. Your awareness softening. Your thoughts fading. Your body surrendering more completely into peace. And there is nothing you need to resist tonight. Nothing left to hold tightly. Nothing left to fear in this moment. Only rest remains. Deep, gentle, healing rest. Your body feels heavy beneath the blankets. Warm, safe, relaxed in a way it has not felt all day. And little by little, your thoughts are no longer fighting so hard for your attention. They are drifting farther away now, becoming softer, less urgent, like distant waves fading into darkness. Tonight, you do not need to hold on to fear anymore. Not in this moment. Not while God is watching over you. Because maybe you have been carrying fear for far too long. Fear of the future. Fear of failure. Fear of losing control. Fear of things changing. Fear of things never changing. And eventually, that fear becomes exhausting. Not only emotionally, but physically. The body becomes tired. The mind becomes overwhelmed. The soul becomes restless. Maybe your heart knows that feeling deeply tonight. But now, God gently invites your exhausted spirit into peace instead. Not dramatic peace. Not forced peace. But quiet peace. The kind that slowly untangles anxious thoughts. The kind that gently tells the nervous system, you are safe now. And perhaps, that is what your soul has needed more than anything else. To finally feel safe. Safe enough to stop bracing for pain. Safe enough to stop expecting something bad to happen. Safe enough to simply rest, without fear following you into the darkness. Breathe slowly again now. Very softly. Feel the calmness surrounding the room. Feel the stillness resting gently around your body. Feel the warmth of safety settling into your chest. Nothing is chasing you tonight. Nothing is demanding answers from you. Nothing needs to be fixed before you sleep. This moment belongs only to rest. And God lovingly protects that rest around you. Even now, while your awareness becomes softer, while your eyelids grow heavier, while your thoughts drift more slowly through your mind, God remains close beside you, steady, calm, faithful, like someone quietly sitting near you in the middle of the night, keeping watch while your exhausted soul finally sleeps. There is comfort in knowing you no longer need to carry every burden through the dark. You no longer need to solve every problem before morning. You no longer need to mentally rehearse tomorrow. God is already there, already present in the future your anxious thoughts keep fearing, already holding what feels uncertain, already carrying what feels too heavy for your heart tonight. And because of that, your soul can continue letting go now, more deeply, more completely, like soft rain fading into silence after a storm, like clouds drifting slowly across a sleeping sky, like calm water settling beneath moonlight. Everything inside you is becoming quieter now. The fear, the tension, the emotional exhaustion, all softening gently beneath the peaceful presence of God. And perhaps now, you can feel how tired your soul truly was. Not weak, not broken, just exhausted from carrying too much internally for too long. But tonight, God does not ask you to keep carrying it. He simply invites you to rest beside Him, to stop striving, to stop surviving, to stop fighting every thought. And maybe, for the first time in a while, your nervous system is finally beginning to trust the quietness of this night. Your chest feels lighter, your breathing calmer, your muscles deeply relaxed. Even your thoughts seem slower now, more distant, more dreamlike, because peace is slowly becoming stronger than anxiety inside you. The room feels peaceful, the darkness comforting, the silence warm and gentle. And within this stillness, God remains near to every exhausted part of your heart. He sees the hidden worries you rarely speak aloud, the fears you carry privately, the emotional heaviness behind your smile. And instead of turning away from your exhaustion, He moves closer, closer to comfort you, closer to calm you, closer to remind your weary soul that you are deeply loved tonight. There is no shame in being tired, no shame in needing rest, no shame in feeling emotionally overwhelmed sometimes. God understands human hearts completely. And tonight, His compassion feels softer than fear, steadier than anxiety, more peaceful than every restless thought trying to keep you awake. So continue breathing slowly now. Continue allowing your body to sink deeper into rest. Continue letting your thoughts drift softly away. There is no urgency here anymore. No pressure. No danger. Only calmness. Only stillness. Only the gentle presence of God helping your anxious heart finally feel safe enough to sleep deeply. Perhaps now, sleep is already beginning to pull you farther into quietness. Your awareness softening, your thoughts fading, your body surrendering more completely into peace. And there is nothing you need to resist tonight. Nothing left to hold tightly. Nothing left to fear in this moment. Only rest remains. Deep, gentle, healing rest. And through every quiet second ahead, through every peaceful breath, through every dream beginning softly in the distance, God continues watching over you tenderly, holding your weary soul safely through the darkness, guiding your anxious heart farther and farther into calm, peaceful rest. The night has become deeply still now. So still, so gentle, as though even the darkness is resting peacefully. And perhaps your soul is resting more deeply now too. Your breathing is slow and soft. Your body feels heavy with calmness. The anxious thoughts that once felt loud and overwhelming are drifting farther away now, becoming quieter, more distant, less powerful, because peace is slowly filling the places fear once occupied. And through this quiet and tender night, God remains beside you, watching over your exhausted heart with endless gentleness. There is no pressure left in this moment, no urgency, no need to keep holding yourself together. Only rest, only stillness, only the quiet safety of God's presence surrounding you. Maybe your heart has felt emotionally overloaded for a very long time. Too many thoughts, too many worries, too much emotional noise inside your mind. And perhaps you became so used to carrying anxiety that you forgot what calmness even feels like. The body stays tense. The nervous system stays alert. The heart keeps expecting bad things to happen. And over time, that constant fear slowly exhausts the soul. But tonight, God lovingly leads your weary spirit away from fear, away from striving, away from emotional survival mode, and into quiet peace instead. Not loud peace, not dramatic peace, but soft peace, steady peace, like distant waves rolling gently beneath the moon, like warm rain falling softly somewhere far away, like calm breathing beside someone who no longer needs to be afraid. That is how God's presence surrounds you tonight. Quietly, faithfully, lovingly, and perhaps now, your nervous system is finally beginning to trust this peace. Your shoulders relaxing, your chest feeling lighter, your breathing slower, your thoughts softer, because your soul is slowly realizing you are safe, deeply safe, safe enough to let go, safe enough to stop preparing for pain, safe enough to rest fully tonight. There is no danger here, nothing chasing you, nothing demanding answers from you, nothing requiring your fear in this moment. Tomorrow can wait. The future can wait. The unanswered questions can wait. Tonight belongs only to rest. And God lovingly protects that rest around you. Even now, while your eyes feel heavier, while your awareness becomes softer, while your thoughts drift more quietly through your mind, God remains awake beside you. Steady, peaceful, watching over every fragile place inside your heart. You do not need to carry every burden anymore tonight. The pressure can rest now. The overthinking can rest now. The emotional exhaustion can rest now. You have already carried enough today. Perhaps more than anyone realizes. And maybe tonight, your soul finally feels understood, finally feels emotionally safe, finally feels held instead of overwhelmed. Because God understands every hidden fear inside you, every silent ache, every exhausted thought. And instead of becoming distant from your anxiety, He stays close, close enough to comfort you, close enough to calm your frightened heart, close enough to gently quiet your restless mind. Breathe softly again now, very slowly. Feel the calmness filling the room. Feel the darkness becoming warm and peaceful around you. Feel your body sinking deeper into rest. Everything inside you is slowing now, softening, healing. There is something deeply beautiful about surrendering peacefully into sleep. Not giving up, but finally trusting. Trusting that God remains present even while you rest. Trusting that you no longer need to stay mentally alert all night. Trusting that your future is safer in His hands than in your anxious thoughts. And perhaps, that trust is slowly growing inside you now. Like gentle light glowing quietly in darkness. Steady, warm, calm. Your thoughts feel dreamlike now. Faint, soft around the edges. The worries of the day no longer feel close. The fear no longer feels as powerful. Because peace is surrounding your soul more deeply with every passing moment. And maybe your body already feels completely relaxed now. Your muscles loose. Your heartbeat steady. Your breathing slow and peaceful. Your nervous system finally resting after carrying too much stress for too long. This is what emotional safety feels like. This is what calmness feels like. This is what happens when an anxious soul finally stops carrying everything alone. And tonight, God lovingly carries what exhausted you. The future. The uncertainty. The fear. The emotional heaviness. You no longer need to hold those things tightly inside your chest tonight. You are free to rest now. Fully. Deeply. Without guilt. Without fear. Without pressure. The room feels distant now. The world outside quiet and far away. Everything wrapped in darkness. Everything wrapped in peace. And somewhere inside this stillness, your weary soul is quietly healing. Healing from fear. Healing from overthinking. Healing from the exhausting need to stay emotionally guarded. God remains near through every peaceful second. Like soft warmth in the middle of the night. Like gentle hands calming an overwhelmed heart. Like calm waves carrying your soul farther away from stress. You are deeply loved tonight. Even in your exhaustion. Even in your anxious moments. Even in the fragile places nobody else sees. God's love remains patient. Steady. Safe. And because of that, your heart no longer needs to fear this night. You are protected here, held gently through the darkness, surrounded by peace stronger than anxiety. So continue drifting softly now. Continue letting your thoughts fade quietly into stillness. Continue allowing sleep to carry you deeper into calmness. Nothing more is required from you tonight. Nothing more must be solved. Only rest remains. Only peace. Only the gentle presence of God helping your exhausted soul drift slowly, softly, peacefully, into healing sleep. The night feels incredibly soft now, almost floating in silence. And perhaps your soul feels like it is floating too, farther away from stress, farther away from fear, farther away from the exhausting noise anxiety created inside your mind earlier tonight. Your breathing is slow now, deep, peaceful. Your body feels heavy beneath the blankets, warm, safe, deeply relaxed. And the thoughts that once felt impossible to escape are becoming quieter with every passing moment. Because God's peace is settling more deeply inside your heart now. There is no pressure left here tonight. No need to keep overthinking. No need to keep carrying invisible emotional weight. No need to stay trapped inside fear. Only rest remains. Gentle, quiet, healing rest. And through every peaceful second of this night, God continues watching over you lovingly, without leaving, without growing tired, without forgetting you. Maybe anxiety made your heart feel very alone lately. Maybe you spent nights silently wishing your mind would finally become calm. Wishing your chest would stop feeling tight. Wishing your thoughts would stop racing long enough for you to breathe normally again. And perhaps nobody truly realized how exhausted you became internally. But God saw everything. Every fearful thought, every hidden ache, every restless night, every moment your soul quietly whispered, "I just want peace." And tonight, His answer to your weary heart is gentleness. Steady gentleness. Like soft moonlight resting over calm water. Like rain fading slowly into silence after midnight. Like peaceful hands carefully calming an overwhelmed soul. That is how God stays beside you tonight. Quietly comforting your anxious heart. Quietly protecting your rest. Quietly reminding your nervous system that you are finally safe enough to let go. Breathe softly again now. Very slowly. Feel the stillness surrounding you. Feel your chest relaxing more deeply. Feel your body sinking further into calmness. There is no danger here tonight. Nothing chasing you. Nothing requiring your fear. Nothing demanding your thoughts continue racing through the dark. You are deeply safe. Safe enough to stop bracing for pain. Safe enough to stop anticipating problems. Safe enough to trust that God remains present even while you sleep. And perhaps that trust is beginning to soften your heart now. Because anxiety often convinces people they must stay mentally alert in order to remain safe. But tonight, God lovingly carries the burden your exhausted mind no longer can. The future, the uncertainty, the unanswered questions, the invisible fears. None of them need to remain inside your chest anymore tonight. God is already holding them carefully, while your weary soul rests. And perhaps now, you can feel how quiet the room has become. The darkness feels comforting. The silence feels warm, almost sacred in its stillness. As though the entire world has slowed down just enough for your anxious heart to finally breathe again. There is healing happening inside you tonight. Quiet healing. Deep healing. The kind that does not happen through force, but through surrender. Through safety. through finally realizing you do not need to carry every burden alone anymore. And maybe your body already feels that healing now. Your muscles completely relaxed. Your thoughts dreamlike and soft. Your breathing slow and natural. Your nervous system no longer trapped in fear. Because peace has become stronger than anxiety tonight. God remains beside you through every quiet breath, watching over your life tenderly, like someone sitting awake beside an exhausted person, protecting them while they finally sleep peacefully. You are not forgotten tonight, not invisible, not abandoned inside your overthinking. God remembers every fragile place inside your heart, every silent fear, every exhausted emotion. And still, His love remains patient, steady, unchanging. There is no disappointment in His presence tonight. Only calmness, only kindness, only quiet compassion for your tired soul. And perhaps now, your thoughts are barely whispers, soft, slow, fading gently into darkness. Sleep is beginning to surround you more deeply, like calm waves carrying you farther from stress, farther from emotional exhaustion, farther from fear. There is no need to resist rest anymore. No need to stay mentally alert. No need to continue fighting invisible battles through the night. You are safe enough to sleep now. Deeply safe. Completely held by God's loving presence. The world outside feels distant now. Quiet and still beneath the night sky. And within this peaceful darkness, your weary soul continues drifting deeper into calmness, deeper into surrender, deeper into healing rest. Everything inside you is becoming softer now. The thoughts, the tension, the emotional noise, all fading gently beneath the quiet peace of God. And through every peaceful second ahead, through every slow breath, through every quiet dream beginning softly in the distance, God continues watching over you tenderly, holding your anxious heart safely through the darkness, guiding your weary soul farther and farther into deep, restful, peaceful sleep. The night is deeply peaceful now, quiet in the softest way, as though every anxious sound inside your mind has slowly faded into the distance. And perhaps your soul feels distant from fear now too. Your breathing is calm, slow, steady. Your body feels deeply relaxed beneath the blankets, warm, safe, almost floating in stillness. And the thoughts that once kept you awake, once pulled your heart into worry, once filled your chest with tension, are becoming softer now, quieter, less important, because God's peace is surrounding you more deeply with every passing moment. Tonight, you no longer need to protect yourself from tomorrow. You no longer need to carry invisible emotional weight through the darkness. You no longer need to keep surviving inside your own thoughts. Because God is here. And His presence feels gentler than fear, steadier than anxiety, stronger than every restless thought that once tried to keep you awake. Perhaps tonight, your exhausted heart is finally beginning to understand. That peace does not come from controlling everything. Peace comes from resting safely in God's care. And maybe, for the first time in a long while, your soul feels safe enough to surrender. Safe enough to stop striving. Safe enough to let sleep come naturally now. Breathe softly again. Very slowly. Feel the calmness settling deeper into your chest. Feel your shoulders relaxing more completely. Feel your body sinking deeper into rest. There is no urgency left here. No pressure. No danger. Only quietness. Only stillness. Only the soft comfort of God watching over you through this anxious night. The room around you feels calm. Almost dreamlike. The darkness feels warm and peaceful now. Not frightening. Not lonely. But comforting. Like the night itself is gently protecting your weary soul. And within this stillness, God remains near, watching over every breath you take, every slow heartbeat, every peaceful moment carrying you farther from fear. Maybe anxiety once convinced you that if you stopped thinking, something bad would happen. That if you stopped worrying, you would lose control. But tonight, your exhausted soul no longer needs to carry that burden. God is already holding tomorrow carefully. Already standing inside the future your mind keeps fearing. Already watching over the things beyond your control. And because of that, your heart can finally rest. Fully, deeply, without fear. The beautiful thing about God's presence is how gentle it feels with tired people. He does not rush anxious hearts. He does not shame overwhelmed minds. He simply stays close, steady, patient, loving, like calm waves repeating softly through the night, like quiet rain against distant windows, like peaceful breathing beside someone finally learning how to feel safe again. That is how God remains beside you tonight. And perhaps now, your thoughts are becoming very faint, soft and blurry around the edges, the emotional noise fading farther away, the tension melting completely from your body, because your nervous system is finally surrendering into peace. You have carried enough for one day. Enough stress. Enough fear. Enough overthinking. Tonight, your soul deserves rest. Deep emotional rest. The kind that slowly heals exhausted hearts while the world sleeps. And God lovingly gives that rest to you now. Without condition. Without pressure. Without asking anything from you except surrender. So continue letting go softly. Continue allow drift farther in. Continue resting your exhausted mind inside God's steady presence. Nothing needs to be solved tonight. Nothing needs to be controlled. Nothing needs to be feared in this moment. Only peace remains. Quiet peace. Healing peace. The kind is a tired soul and self-drift. Softer. Your fully relaxed. Like calm darkness covering the earth. Everything feels distant now. The worries, the fear, the emotional pressure, all are away beneath the peaceful stillness of the night. God remains beside you through every quiet part, guarding your rest, holding safely you tonight, not on and inside your sees every view, hidden fear, every emotion, and still is steady, soft, safe, unchanging. No fear stronger than, no anxious thought stronger than his presence. No emotional exhaustion deeper than his ability to comfort your soul. Of that, your heart no longer needs to stay awake carrying everything alone. You can rest now, fully, deeply, peacefully, like quiet waves settling into calm water, like soft clouds drifting across a sleeping sky, like darkness gently carrying the earth into stillness. Your soul is becoming still now, very still, very peaceful, and through every moment of this quiet night, through every dream waiting softly ahead, through every gentle breath carrying you deeper into sleep, God continues watching over you tenderly, holding your anxious heart carefully, surrounding your weary spirit with calmness, guiding your soul farther and farther into healing, restful, peaceful sleep. The night feels almost completely silent now. Soft, deep, peaceful beyond words. And perhaps your anxious heart feels quieter too. Your breathing is slow and gentle. Your body feels deeply relaxed beneath the blankets. Warm, safe, heavy with calmness. The thoughts that once demanded your attention are fading farther away now, becoming softer, more distant, less powerful, because peace has settled deeply into your soul tonight. And through every quiet moment, God remains beside you, watching over your weary heart with tenderness. There is nothing left you need to carry right now. Nothing left you must solve before sleeping. Nothing left you must fear in this moment. Only rest remains. Only stillness. Only the quiet comfort of God's presence surrounding you through the darkness. Maybe your soul has been tired for a very long time. Not only physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. The kind of tiredness that builds slowly through stress, through overthinking, through carrying invisible fear day after day. And eventually, a person becomes exhausted from simply trying to hold themselves. But tonight, you no longer think together alone. God lovingly holds you in, and perhaps that realization is helping your body soften even more now. Your muscles relaxed, your chest lighter, your nervous system no longer fighting against imagined danger. Because deep inside, your soul is finally beginning to trust this peace. There is no danger here tonight. No emergency. No pressure. Only calmness. Quiet calmness. Like moonlight resting across still water. Like rain fading softly into silence. Like warm breathing beside someone finally safe enough to sleep. That is how God remains near you tonight. Steady. Gentle. Faithful. And perhaps now, your thoughts feel dreamlike, soft around the edges. The worries that once felt overwhelming no longer feel close. The fear no longer feels sharp, because your exhausted mind is slowly surrendering into rest. Breathe softly again now, very slowly. Feel the stillness filling every part of your body. Feel the peace moving deeper into your chest. Feel the emotional weight continuing to melt away. You do not need to protect your tomorrow tonight. God is already there, already holding your future carefully, already watching over the situations your anxious heart keeps fearing, already protecting the fragile places inside your soul. And because of that, you are finally free to rest, fully, deeply, without guilt, without fear. The room around you feels distant now, quiet and peaceful beneath the darkness. The world outside feels far away. Everything slowed down, everything resting. And somewhere inside this beautiful stillness, your weary soul is quietly healing. Healing from emotional exhaustion. Healing from overthinking. Healing from the pressure to constantly survive. There is something sacred about peaceful nights like this. Moments where the nervous system finally stops fighting. Moments where the heart no longer braces for pain. Moments where the soul remembers what safety feels like. And tonight, God lovingly gives that safety to you now. Not through control, not through certainty, but through presence. Steady presence. The kind that gently quiets every anxious place inside you. Maybe for a long time, your mind felt responsible for carrying everything. Responsible for preventing pain. Responsible for controlling outcomes. But your soul was never meant to carry life alone. That burden became too heavy, too exhausting, too painful. And tonight, God gently lifts some of that burden from your tired heart. Like leaves floating away across calm water. Like soft clouds drifting through a sleeping sky. Like waves slowly settling after a storm. Everything inside you is becoming quieter now. The emotional noise fading. The tension dissolving. The fear losing its grip. Because peace is becoming stronger than anxiety tonight. And perhaps your body already feels completely surrendered into rest now. Your breathing slow and effortless. Your heartbeat steady. Your thoughts barely whispers drifting softly through darkness. Sleep is very close now. Soft, deep, healing. And there is no need to resist it anymore. No need to stay mentally alert. No need to continue carrying invisible emotional pressure through the night. You are deeply safe tonight. Safe enough to let go completely. Safe enough to stop fighting. Safe enough to trust God with every hour ahead. The beautiful thing about God's love is how gently it holds exhausted people. No shame, no harshness, no disappointment, only patience, only calmness, only quiet compassion hearts. And tonight, that surrounds you in darkness, like calm breathing beside you, like soft light protecting your rest. You are not alone tonight. Not forgotten. Not abandoned inside your anxiety. God sees every hidden fear, every exhausted thought, every fragile emotion inside your heart. And still, He stays close. Close enough to comfort you. Close enough to calm you. Close enough to guide your soul peacefully toward sleep. So continue drifting softly now. Continue letting your thoughts fade deeper into silence. Continue allowing your body to sink fully into rest. Nothing more is required tonight. Nothing more needs your attention. Only peace remains. Only stillness. Only the gentle presence of God carrying your exhausted heart farther and farther into quiet, healing, peaceful sleep. The night has become incredibly soft now. Quietest way. As though the entire world is gently resting beneath the darkness. And perhaps your anxious heart is finally resting too. Your breathing feels peaceful now. Slow, steady, natural. Your body feels completely relaxed beneath the blankets. Warm, heavy, safe. And the thoughts that once felt impossible to escape have become distant whispers fading quietly into silence. Because peace has settled deeply into your soul tonight. God remains beside you through every quiet second, watching over your weary heart tenderly, without leaving, without sleeping, without ever forgetting you. There is nothing left to fear in this moment. Nothing left to carry alone. Nothing left demanding your emotional strength tonight. Only stillness remains. Only calmness. Only the gentle comfort of being held safely in God's presence. Maybe anxiety once made this darkness feel. Maybe nighttime used. Maybe silence used to make your thoughts louder. But tonight, the silence feels different. Tonight, the darkness feels peaceful. Because God's presence fills every quiet corner of this night. Like soft moonlight resting over sleeping water. Like warm rain falling gently against distant windows. Like calm breathing beside someone finally safe enough to rest. That is how God stays near you tonight. Steady, patient, loving, and perhaps now, your nervous system fully believes you are safe, deeply safe, safe enough to stop overthinking, safe enough to stop preparing for tomorrow, safe enough to let sleep completely carry you now. There is no urgency anymore, no pressure, no emotional striving, only peace, deep peace, the kind that slowly quiets every fearful place inside the heart. Breathe softly again now, very gently. Feel the calmness inside your chest. Feel the stillness surrounding your body. Feel the softness of this peaceful night. Nothing is chasing you here. Nothing is demanding answers. Nothing needs to be controlled. Tomorrow can remain safely in God's hands tonight. And perhaps your exhausted soul desperately needed to hear that. You do not need to hold the future together. You do not need to mentally carry every burden through the dark. You do not need to stay emotionally alert all night long. God lovingly watches over what your anxious mind keeps fearing. already present in every uncertain place, already protecting what concerns you, already carrying what became too heavy for your heart. And because of that, your soul can continue surrendering more deeply now, like waves settling into still water after a storm, like clouds drifting peacefully across a sleeping sky, like soft wind easing gently through trees beneath the moonlight. Everything inside you is becoming slower, quieter, more peaceful, and perhaps your thoughts now feel almost dreamlike, faint, distant, barely forming before they drift softly away again. Sleep is surrounding you gently now, not forced, not rushed, but peaceful, natural, healing. Your body no longer feels tense. Your chest no longer feels tight. Your breathing no longer feels trapped beneath anxiety. Because your nervous system is finally resting. Finally releasing the fear it carried for too long. There is healing happening inside you tonight. Quiet healing. Deep healing. Healing in the stillness. Healing in the softness. Healing in finally realizing you are not alone inside your anxious nights. God has been here through every fearful moment, through every restless hour, through every silent prayer whispered from exhaustion. And tonight, He remains close beside you, closer than fear, closer than overthinking, closer than every anxious thought that once tried to consume your peace. The room around you feels very distant now, quiet and calm beneath the darkness. The world outside sleeping peacefully. Everything slower, everything softer. And within this beautiful stillness, your soul continues drifting deeper into rest, deeper into surrender, deeper into calmness. There is no need to resist sleep anymore. No need to keep fighting invisible. No need to continue carrying emotional pressure through the night. You are deeply protected tonight, deeply comforted, deeply loved. And perhaps now, your body feels wonderfully heavy, completely relaxed. Your breathing soft as whispers. Your thoughts fading farther into silence with every passing second. Because peace has become stronger than anxiety now. The beautiful thing about God's love is how quietly faithful it remains. Even when your mind felt overwhelmed. Even when fear felt louder than peace. Even when exhaustion made everything feel heavy. God never stopped watching over you. Never stopped loving you gently through the darkness. And tonight, that gentle love surrounds you completely. Like warm light glowing softly in the middle of the night. Like calm water carrying you farther from fear. Like peaceful hands resting over your tired heart. You are safe. Completely safe. Safe enough to sleep. Safe enough to stop striving. Safe enough to surrender fully into rest. And while the night grows softer around you, while your awareness fades gently toward dreams, while your anxious thoughts disappear quietly into stillness, God continues watching over you tenderly, guarding your peace, holding your weary soul safely through the darkness, guiding your exhausted heart farther and farther into calm, healing, peaceful sleep. The night feels almost completely silent now. Soft beyond words. Calm in a way your soul may not have felt in a very long time. And your anxious heart has become quiet too. Your breathing is slow, deep, peaceful. Your body feels heavy with rest beneath the blankets. Warm, safe, fully relaxed. And the thoughts felt loud and overwhelming, have drifted far into the distance now, like faint echoes disappearing gently into darkness. Peace has settled deeply inside you tonight. God remains beside you through every soft breath, through a second, through every quiet moment, leading your weary soul deeper in. There is nothing left you need to carry tonight. Nothing left to solve. Nothing left to fear. Only stillness remains. Only calmness. Only the gentle comfort of God watching over you through it. Maybe your soul has been waiting for this kind of peace for a long time. Not temporary escape. Not distraction. But real emotional rest. The kind that slowly untangles fear from the nervous system. The kind that softens exhausted hearts. The kind that reminds a person, you are finally safe enough to let go. Now, your feels that safety deeply. The muscles in your shoulders relaxed. Your jaw softened. Your chest no longer tight with fear. Even your heartbeat feels calmer now. Steady. Quiet. Peaceful. Because anxiety no longer controls this moment. God's peace does. The room around you feels distant now. The world outside feels far away. Everything wrapped in darkness. Everything wrapped in silence. Everything wrapped in calmness. And within this stillness, your soul continues drifting deeper into, like calm water beneath a sleeping sky. Like soft rain easing slowly into silence. Moving gently through trees at midnight. That same peaceful in you now, farther from stress, farther from emotional exhaustion, farther from every fearful thought that once kept your mind awake. There is no urgency left here tonight. No pressure. No emotional striving. You need to mentally prepare yourself for tomorrow. To God. And perhaps your exhausted soul finally believes that now. You do not need to carry the future through the night. You do not need to stay awake protecting uncertainty. God is already present in every tomorrow your mind keeps fearing. Already holding every unanswered question carefully. Already watching over every fragile place inside your heart. And because of that, your soul can continue surrendering more deeply now, breath by breath, moment by moment, softly, peacefully. Maybe your thoughts feel almost weightless now, faint, dreamlike, barely forming before drifting quietly away again. Sleep is surrounding you gently now. Natural, deep, healing. Your awareness becoming softer with every passing second. Your breathing slower. Your body completely relaxed. And peaceful darkness. God remains near, steady, loving, faithful. You are not alone tonight, not forgotten, not abandoned inside your anxious moments. God remembers every exhausted part of your soul, every hidden fear, every silent prayer with emotional exhaustion. And still, His love remains calm, steady enough to quiet your heart, gentle enough your mind, safe enough to carry you fully into rest. There is something beautiful about this surrender, not giving up, but finally letting yourself be held, finally allowing peace to replace fear, finally allowing your nervous system to stop fighting. And tonight, your weary soul no longer needs to fight anything. Not the future. Not the anxiety. Only rest now. Only stillness. Only quiet healing. The darkness feels warm and comforting, almost protective, like the entire night is gently covering your heart with calmness. And perhaps now, you can feel how deeply loved you truly are. Loved in your exhaustion. Loved in your fragile moments. Loved even on anxious nights when your thoughts felt unquiet. God's presence never left you. Not once. Even when fear felt loud. Even when overthinking. Even when you felt emotionally overwhelmed. He remained beside you, watching over you patiently through every difficult night. And tonight, that faithful presence surrounds you completely, like soft light glowing gently, like carrying you farther from fear, like peaceful hands resting over your tired soul. Everything inside you is becoming quieter now. The emotional noise fading, the tension dissolving softly into peace. Because your soul is finally something stronger than anxiety, resting inside the gentle love of God. Breathe softly again now, very slowly. Feel your body sinking deeper into rest. Feel your thoughts disappearing quietly into stillness. Feel the calmness surrounding you completely. There is no danger here, no pressure, no reason to stay emotionally alert anymore. You are deeply safe, deeply protected, deeply loved. And while the night continues growing softer around you, while your awareness drifts peacefully toward dreams, while your anxious thoughts fade fully into silence, God continues you tenderly, weary heart carefully through the darkness, guiding your exhausted soul farther and farther into deep, quiet, peaceful sleep. The night is deeply silent now, so soft, so peaceful, as though the entire world has completely surrendered into rest. And perhaps your anxious heart has surrendered too. Your breathing is slow and effortless. Your body feels warm and heavy beneath the blankets. Relaxed. Every fearful thought fading farther into the distance. You becoming quieter now. Softer. Still. Because God's peace has settled deeply into your soul tonight. There is nothing left except calmness. Deep. The quiets exhausted hearts. Slowly teaches anxious minds how to rest again. And through every piece of this night, guide you over your weary spirit tenderly, without sleeping, without leaving, without ever forgetting you. Maybe for a long time, felt trapped in constant thinking, what might happen next, and eventually, that kind of fear exhausts completely. The body grows tired, the emotions grow heavy. The nervous system forgets how to feel safe. But tonight, your nervous system is finally resting. Finally realizing there is no danger, nothing chasing you, nothing demanding your fear, nothing requiring your mind to stay awake. You are deeply safe, safe enough to stop overthinking, safe enough to drift fully into. Breathe softly, very slowly. Feel the stillness around you. Feel your gently sinking deeper into rest. There is no urgency left here anymore. Pressure, emotional striving, only quietness, only peace, only the gentle comfort of God's loving presence surrounding you through the darkness. The room feels very distant now. The world outside sleeping quietly beneath the night sky. Everything wrapped in silence. Everything wrapped in calmness. And within this peaceful stillness, your weary soul continues drifting farther away from fear. Like calm water beneath moonlight. Like soft clouds floating slowly through the dark. Like rain fading gently into silence before dawn. That same peaceful rhythm is carrying your heart now. Farther from anxiety. Farther from emotional exhaustion. Farther from every heavy thought that once kept you awake. And perhaps now, your thoughts barely feel real anymore. Soft, faint, dreamlike, appearing gently before dissolving back into stillness. Sleep is surrounding you completely now. Deep, natural, healing. Your breathing feels almost weightless. Your heartbeat calm and steady. Your awareness drifting softly toward dreams. Because your soul no longer feels trapped in fear tonight. God remains near through every quiet second, watching over your sleep with tenderness, like someone lovingly staying awake beside an exhausted person, protecting them while they finally rest peacefully. You are not forgotten tonight, not unseen, not abandoned inside your anxious moments. God remembers every hidden burden your heart carried, every silent fear, every exhausted night, every moment you quietly wondered if peace would ever return again. And through all of it, His love remains steady. soft, faithful, unchanging. Tonight, that faithful love surrounds you completely, like warm light glowing softly through darkness, like calm waves carrying your soul gently into rest, like peaceful hands resting carefully over your tired heart. There is no shame in needing peace, no shame in feeling emotionally exhausted sometimes, no shame in needing God to hold what became too heavy for you. Because human hearts were never created to carry endless fear alone. And tonight, God lovingly carries what exhausted you. The future, the uncertainty, the emotional pressure, the invisible weight anxiety placed inside your chest. You no longer need to hold those things tonight. You are free to rest now. Fully, deeply, peacefully, and perhaps now, your body feels completely surrendered into calmness. Your muscles deeply relaxed. Your breathing slow and soft. Your thoughts fading almost completely into silence. Everything inside you becoming still. Very still. Very peaceful. The darkness feels warm tonight. Comforting. Protective. Like the entire night itself is gently covering your soul with safety. And maybe, for the first time in a very long while, your heart truly feels safe enough to sleep deeply. Safe enough to stop fighting. Safe enough to trust that God remains with you through every hour of darkness. Even while you sleep. Even while dreams quietly begin forming. Even while your awareness drifts farther from this world. God continues watching over you lovingly. Holding your weary spirit safely. Guarding your peace. Protecting your rest. Nothing can steal this calmness from your soul tonight. Nothing can separate you from God's gentle care. You are deeply loved. Deeply, deep, and is farther now. Farther into quiet. Farther into heat. Away from every angle. God remains tenderly, pounding your heart with peace, guiding your soul deeper, deeper, into sleep. The night feels almost completely weightless now. Soft, silent, peaceful beyond words. Perhaps your soul feels weightless too, from stress. Far away from overthinking. Far away from heaviness that once filled your chest. You're breathing gentle now. Calm, body rests deeply beneath the blankets. Warm, safe, completely relaxed. Thoughts, once restless and loud, have become soft whispers fading quietly into darkness. Because peace has fully surrounded your anxious heart tonight, God remains beside you through every peaceful second, watching over it tenderly, without distance, without ever leaving you alone in this night. There is nothing left you need to carry now. Nothing left you must solve before morning. Nothing left requiring your emotional strength tonight. Only stillness remains. Only calmness. Only the gentle comfort of God holding your exhausted soul safely through the darkness. Maybe your heart has been tired for much longer than anyone realized. The kind of tiredness hidden behind routines, behind responsibilities, behind smiling while internally feeling overwhelmed. And perhaps you became so used to carrying anxiety that peace started feeling unfamiliar. But tonight, peace feels natural again. Soft, safe, like beneath moonlight. Softly and as far away. Quiet breathing, finally safe enough to rest deeply. That is how God sees you now. Steady, warm, faithful. And perhaps your nervous system completely feels that peace now. Your muscles relaxed, softened. Your heartbeat calm. Your breathing effortless. Everything inside you slowing. Becoming quiet. Becoming still. Because fear no longer controls this moment. God's peace does. The darkness feels comforting tonight. Not lonely, not frightening, but peaceful. Almost sacred in its stillness. Like the entire world has gently fallen asleep beneath God's care. And your weary soul is becoming part of that peaceful stillness now. Drifting softly. Resting deeply. Letting go completely. There is no need to protect yourself from tomorrow tonight. God is already there. Already standing inside every future your anxious mind once feared. Already holding every unanswered question carefully. Watching over every fragile place inside your heart. And because of that, your soul no longer needs to stay emotionally alert. You are finally free to rest. Fully. Deeply. Without fear. Breathe softly again now. Feel surrounding every part of your body. Your chest light and peace. Feel the stillness bringing you deeper into nothing here. Nothing is demanding and nothing anxiety anymore tonight. Only quiet peace. Healing peace. The kind that stores exhausted hearts while the world sleeps. And perhaps now, your thoughts barely feel connected to the worries of the day anymore. They drift softly through your mind, disappearing quietly into silence. The emotional noise is gone. The tension has faded. The fear has softened into calmness. Because your soul is finally resting inside something stronger than anxiety. Resting inside the loving presence of God. You are not forgotten tonight. Not invisible. Not abandoned inside your struggles. God remembers every exhausted prayer. Every hidden fear. Every night your mind felt too tired to keep fighting. And through every difficult moment, His love remained patient, steady. Tonight, that faithful love surrounds you completely, like warm light glowing gently through darkness. It's carrying your spirit farther into rest. Peaceful hands resting softly over your tired heart. Everything inside you is becoming softer now. The breathing, beat, the thoughts, emotions, all slowing gently beneath the calmness of this peaceful night. Sleep is surrounding you more deeply now. Soft, natural, healing. No need to resist it anymore. No need to keep. No need to keep holding invisible emotional weight inside your chest. You are deeply safe tonight. Safe enough to let go completely. Safe enough to surrender fully into peace. The room around you feels quiet beneath the dark. The world being peacefully beneath the everything's every sacred silence. Your weary soul can farther from anxiety, farther from stress, farther from emotional exhaustion. God remains near through every quiet, watching over your dreams before they begin, watching over your heart while it finally rests, watching over your soul with endless tenderness. Nothing will steal this peace from you. Nothing can separate you from God's gentle care. You are deeply loved, deeply protected, deeply comforted, and perhaps now, your awareness feels very soft, very distant, as whispers, your thoughts fading almost completely. Everything inside you becomes very peaceful, and while sleep carries you farther now, farther into quietness, farther into healing rest, farther away from every anxious thought, God continues watching over you lovingly, holding you safely through with calmness, guiding your exhaustion and deep, restful, peaceful sleep. The night is almost silent now. So still, the entire world has gently peaceful rest. And perhaps, your anxious heart has disappeared into that peace too. Your breathing is slow and effortless. Body feels warm, relaxed beneath the blanket, heavy with safety, heavy with rest. Thoughts, once crowded with have faded softly now, like quiet waves disappearing beneath the dark, because peace has fully surrounded your soul tonight. God remains beside you through every peaceful breath, watching over your weary heart tenderly, without interruption, distance, without ever leaving your side. There is nothing left to carry tonight, nothing left to solve, nothing left to fear, only quietness, only stillness, only the gentle comfort of being deeply held by God's loving presence. Perhaps now, your nervous system feels tension gone from your chest, your shoulders fully relaxed, your heartbeat slow and steady, your breathing soft as whispers, everything inside you becoming still, very peaceful, because your soul no longer feels trapped in survival mode tonight. You are safe now, deeply safe, safe enough protecting yourself from tomorrow, safe enough to release every anxious thought, safe enough to surrender completely into peaceful sleep. The darkness feels warm tonight, comforting, beautiful in its silence, like soft night air resting the world, like moonlight touching calm water, like gentle rain fading slowly into stillness before dawn. That same peaceful calmness surrounds your soul now, and perhaps, for the first time in a long while, your heart truly feels rested, not only physically, but emotionally, spiritually, deep inside, because God's peace has reached the places anxiety once consumed. There is no urgency here anymore, no emotional pressure, No striving. No need to mentally rehearse the future. Tomorrow belongs safely to God. And tonight, your exhausted soul no longer needs to carry what only God was meant to hold. The fears, the uncertainty, the unanswered questions, the emotional heaviness, all of it rests safely in His hands now, while your weary spirit drifts deeper into calmness. And perhaps now, your thoughts barely feel connected to this world anymore. Soft, distant, dreamlike, appearing gently before dissolving back into silence, seeing you deep, natural, healing, becoming softer with every passing second. Your breathing carrying you farther into rest. Your body surrendering fully into peace. And through every quiet moment, remains near, steady, loving, faithful. You are not forgotten tonight, not unseen, not abandoned inside your anxious nights. God remembers every hidden fear you carried, every exhausted prayer, every restless moment your mind struggled to find peace. And through every difficult night, His love remained calm, patient, unchanging. Tonight, that faithful love surrounds you completely, like warm light softly through darkness, like calm waves carrying your soul farther away from fear, like peaceful hands resting gently over your tired heart. There is no fear stronger than God's peace, no anxious thought deeper than His calm, no emotional exhaustion beyond His ability to gently heal. And perhaps now, your soul fully believes that, because your body feels completely surrendered into stillness. Your breathing soft and slow. Your muscles fully relaxed. Your thoughts almost gone now. Everything inside you becoming quiet, becoming peaceful, becoming safe. The room around you feels very distant now. The world outside sleeping silently beneath the stars. Everything calm, everything resting, everything still. And within this beautiful silence, your weary soul drifting farther from anxiety, farther from emotional exhaustion, farther from every heavy thought that once kept you awake tonight. There is no need to resist sleep anymore. No need to keep fighting invisible battles. No need to hold on to fear. You are deeply protected tonight, deeply comforted, deeply loved. And while you sleep, God continues watching over every breath, every dream, every peaceful moment of rest. Like someone an exhausted soul through the dark, making sure your heart can finally rest safely. Nothing can steal this peace from you now. Nothing can separate you from God's loving care tonight. You are completely safe here, completely held, completely surrounded by calmness. And perhaps now, your awareness feels very far away, very soft, very peaceful. The thoughts almost fully disappeared. The tension completely gone. The anxiety dissolved quietly into stillness. Because your soul is finally resting inside the peace it has been searching for. And as sleep carries you farther now, farther into quietness, farther into healing darkness, farther into deep and peaceful rest. God continues holding your weary spirit tenderly, surrounding your heart with calmness, protecting your sleep with endless gentleness, guiding your exhausted soul deeper and deeper into soft, restful, peaceful sleep. The night is completely peaceful now, soft beyond words, silent beyond thought, and perhaps your soul has become completely peaceful too. Everything is slow, gentle, effortless. Body rests deeply beneath the blankets. Warm, heavy, completely relaxed. And your thoughts, once restless with anxiety, once crowded with fear, have faded quietly into stillness now, like soft waves disappearing into calm darkness, because peace has fully surrounded your heart tonight. God remains beside you through every final quiet moment of this night, watching over you tenderly, without leaving, without sleeping, without ever forgetting you. You are deeply safe now. Safe enough to stop carrying fear. Safe enough to stop preparing for tomorrow. Safe enough to fully surrender into peaceful sleep. There is nothing left you must solve tonight. Nothing left you must understand. Nothing left you must control. Only rest remains. Only calmness. Only the gentle comfort of God holding your weary soul through the darkness. Perhaps now, your nerve feels completely still, the tension gone from your shoulders fully relaxed, your heartbeat calm and steady, soft as whispers. Everything peaceful. Because your soul no longer feels trapped in survival mode tonight. The darkness feels comforting, protective, almost sacred in its silence. Like the enticing sense, the heart is that peaceful, drifting softly, deeply, letting go completely. There is anymore. No emotion, only peace. The kind that gently restores tired souls and tonight, God lovingly gives that peace freely to you. Without condition, without pressure, without asking anything except rest. Maybe for a long time, your mind felt exhausted from carrying too much worries, too many thoughts, too heaviness hidden quietly in. But you no longer those burdens alone. Gently holds them now. The uncertainty, the unanswered questions, the fears your anxious mind kept replaying. All of it rests safely in His hands tonight, while your weary spirit sleeps peacefully. And perhaps now, your thoughts barely feel connected to the world. Soft, faint, dreamlike, appearing quietly before dissolving back into silence. Sleep surrounds you completely now. Deep, natural, healing. Your awareness drifting farther into calmness. Your breathing carrying you gently into rest. Your body fully surrendered into peace. And through every quiet second, God remains near, steady, faithful, loving. You are not forgotten tonight, not unseen, not abandoned inside your anxious nights. God remembers every exhausted prayer, every hidden fear, every moment your heart quietly longed for peace. And through all of it, His love remained calm, patient, unchanging. Tonight, that faithful love surrounds you completely, like soft moonlight resting over, like gentle rain fading slowly into silence, like peaceful hands resting carefully over your tired soul. There is no anxiety stronger than God's peace tonight, fear deeper than His, no exhaustion beyond His ability to gently restore your heart. And perhaps now, your soul fully believes that, because your body feels completely surrendered into stillness. Your muscles deeply relaxed. Your breathing slow. Your thoughts almost completely gone now. Everything inside you becoming soft, becoming quiet, becoming peaceful. The room around you feels very distant. The world outside sleeping silently beneath the stars. Everything calm. Everything resting. Everything still. And within this sacred stillness, your weary soul continues drifting farther from anxiety, farther from stress, farther from emotional exhaustion. There is no need to resist sleep anymore. No need to keep fighting invisible battles inside your mind. No need to hold on to fear. You are deeply protected tonight. Deeply comforted. And while you sleep, God continues watching over every breath, every dream, every peaceful moment of rest. Like someone lovingly guarding an exhausted heart through the night, making sure your soul finally feels safe. Nothing can steal this peace from you now. Nothing can separate you from God's gentle care. You are completely safe here, completely held, completely surrounded by calmness. And perhaps now, your awareness feels very far away, very soft, very peaceful. The thoughts fully faded, the tension completely gone, the anxiety dissolved quietly into because your soul is finally resting inside the peace it has been searching for. So rest now, deeply, softly, peacefully. Let the darkness hold you gently. Let it carry you farther. Every final trace of fear disappear into silence. And through every quiet hour ahead, through every peaceful dream, through every healing, God remains beside you, holding your weary spirit safely, your heart with endless peace, surrounding your soul with peace, while you drift deeper and deeper into healing, restful, peaceful. Tonight, you can finally rest, because God is still with you, and He will continue over you. all through the night.